welcome back to the channel. We're going around today doing some maintenance on some roses, taking a look at some things that we need to do here in the garden. One of the things that I had to do was fix this Brother Cadfiel rose here because it was leaning a bit, and that's due to some of the sunlight that we get over here, but it's also due to properly planting your rose. And that's something that I want to talk about a little bit, is when you plant your rose in the ground as opposed to in a container like we normally do. Because this rose is planted in the ground, it needs to be planted at a proper depth depending on how tall or how vigorous your rose is, because a lot of that wind can basically push the rose over. It's not planted deep enough, and it causes it to rock right at the root ball. And that's something that this rose has suffered from. It actually started to rock forward. So what you saw me do here is I put a metal stake in the ground about 2.5 feet in the ground, left about 2.5 feet up here. One of the other things I used to fix this rose was some basic Velcro tape. This is some pretty good tape. We've been using it for our climbing roses on the fences over there as well, just to keep those branches and those canes up along the fence there. But it's also a good thing that it's Velcro tape. It's not a wire that's going to cut into the rose either, and it's something that it's going to be able to be adjustable, so when those canes start to get a little bit thicker, you can adjust that a little bit more. All right, so now that we've taken care of that part of this rose and moving it the way we wanted to, I did want to talk about this rose a little bit more. This is Brother Cadfiel rose. It's a David Austin rose. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it online much places. We actually ran into this one while we were, I guess you could call it garden center hopping, me and Angie, and we absolutely fell in love with this rose. I think one of the pros about this rose is there's a lot of people out there that don't like thorny roses, and Brother Cadfiel does not have a lot of thorns, so that's a plus for anybody that's looking for a rose like this. Another thing about this rose, it has some beautiful flowers. They are globular shaped, and they almost resemble peonies at times. In the summer, when it gets a little bit hotter, they'll be a little bit smaller, and that's when those globes tighten up a little bit and definitely look like peonies. Another thing about this rose, it's supposed to be a shrub rose. It grows to about 3 to 5 feet, but it can definitely be grown as a climber. And it's supposed to be 8 feet, but we actually saw at our last house in North Carolina, we had a porch that was about 10 feet tall, and it nearly touched that porch with about 2 different canes. So it could definitely be grown as a beautiful climber. So Brother Cadfiel is a very vigorous grower, so we're gonna go ahead and give Brother Cadfiel a nice pruning so we have some beautiful blooms coming this season. One thing that Angie did remind me of was that Brother Cadfiel's blooms have a great vase life. So as a cutting rose, this is a beautiful rose. I know I've cut some before, Angie has cut some before, and they definitely last a long time. So that's a plus. And their scent actually carries wherever you have this in the vase. It carries through a good, I would say, 10-foot radius where I can actually smell this rose. So very beautiful rose to have. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna prune this down a little bit, and then we'll continue on and do some more maintenance here in the garden. Okay, so now we are gonna do something drastic. And by drastic, I mean we're pretty much gonna prune this Molyneux rose quite a bit. And when I say quite a bit, I'm probably gonna take most of it off because, as you can see, and I wanna leave just a little bit, and I know this is a lot, but there's a lot of disease on there. When I say disease, there's a lot of black spot along the stems there, and that's something we don't want starting the season off with black spot all over the garden. So we're gonna go ahead and prune a majority of this rose down to size and just let it regrow with some new growth. Now, with that being said, we do run the risk of not having a lot of growth this season from this rose. They're not really performing that great at all. But I don't doubt that it's gonna perform, because this rose is very, it's a very great rose, and it bloomed a lot. And even though it had a lot of black spot last year, it did surprise us a lot with the blooms that it was giving. So I wouldn't be surprised that it comes back healthier and stronger, which is one of the benefits of doing a hard pruning to some of these roses when they actually need it. So Molyneux here is gonna get a nice haircut. Some of these stems don't look too bad, so I'm not really gonna take it down too much. What I am gonna do is, we have some growth coming back here that I am gonna prune out because it's growing into teasing Georgia right here along the wall, and I don't want that to be happening. So I wanna kind of force it to shrub out away from teasing Georgia back here. So teasing Georgia has a fighting chance to bloom down at the bottom here. So we're just gonna prune back some of this growth here again, so it's not growing right into teasing Georgia. And then this here, we're gonna prune about right here because it's got a lot of damage as well. I took out a lot of that diseased growth down there. Some of that disease down there as well. Okay, so we went from about this tall to down here, and we got rid of a lot of the damage, disease, some of the crossing branches and some of the weaker branches, and we're hoping that Molyneux comes back twice as strong, which I have no doubts that it's going to, especially after we treat all our roses here in the garden so it doesn't spread any disease. One of the most important things I do want to talk about is when you are pruning something like this that has some black spot, has some diseases, is I created a little pile right here in front of me. You want to make sure you gather all that, any foliage that does fall, you want to pick that up as well, which fortunately it doesn't have a lot of growth, so there's really no black spot that fell from the leaves aside from the stems here. But you want to make sure you gather all that up and dispose of that properly. Don't put that in a compost pile, don't put that anywhere else in your garden. Just definitely just get rid of that. And then of course most importantly is spraying your pruners down and giving them a good wipe with some alcohol. That's what we do, so that way we don't spread it to the next rows when we start pruning another rows in the garden. Okay, so how the weather's been warming up, one thing that we absolutely love to do aside from gardening out here in the yard is we love to cook. And with that being said, we post across a lot of our social media platforms, and we've been asked before in the past is why don't we post some of our food stuff, because that's one thing we definitely love to do. We love to cook. I love to barbecue outside. So it's pretty exciting to tell you that this video is actually sponsored by Grillaholics. They went ahead and sent us a couple of items for the grill out here because we love to grill outside, we love to cook outside, and that's one of our favorite pastimes whenever we're gardening out here, is having the grill going while we're doing some other activities out here in the garden. And I'm excited to show you some of the stuff that we got here, guys. So first I'm gonna start with this. I've already opened it because I definitely wanted to see what was in here before I actually started grilling out here. So I wanted to show you the first thing I have here is an awesome hat. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off and replace it with this one. This is a Holix hat. It's pretty exciting because I love to wear different hats out here in the garden as well. So it's an exciting thing to have going on here in the garden. And by the way, as I'm showing you guys this stuff, if there's something that you definitely love inside this box here, I'm gonna go ahead and share a link down below where you can actually save 20% off on all the Grillaholics products, as well as using the code GARDEN20 whenever you check out. You'll be able to save 20% on any of these products here. So starting to open the box here, we have a barbecue thermometer, which definitely comes in handy when we're cooking some of those bigger meats like a pork shoulder or a brisket. So that's definitely something that's going to come in handy here. And we have some grill brushes here. This is a nylon brush, normally used on a cold grate, meaning you don't want to use this on a hot grill because then you'll melt those nylon bristles. But awesome brush here. I actually got 3 brushes in this package here. And here is another brush here. This one here is a brass one. So it's a 3-in-1 brass grill brush, which can be used on just about any surface and it won't scratch any of your grates or anything like that, depending on what kind of grates you have. So definitely love this one. And the handles on these are absolutely awesome because they'll reach a good distance. You don't have to worry about getting burned. And then here is the third brush that I was telling you guys about, which is probably gonna be one of my favorite ones. It's got a scraper here on the end, and it's got these awesome grooves here in the brush here that is gonna be very beneficial to really get in between those grates there. So this is a bristle-free brush. So the one thing about the bristle-free brush, it's awesome because you can actually dip this in water and use it as kind of a steamer. And because it's not bristles, you won't have to worry about leaving any bristles in your food or anywhere inside the grill or nothing like that. So pretty exciting to have one of these as well. And let's see how quickly we can go through some of this stuff because there are some awesome stuff I do want to show you. Here is a stuffed burger press. Very excited to use that one in the future. Have a pack of grilling tubes. I'll put that to the side because I'm actually going to use that today and show you exactly what's in there. And speaking of that long handle for the brushes, this is pretty awesome. There's some grill gloves here so you don't get burned. So that's always good. I've been known to singe some of the hair on my arm in the past, as Angie would like to say. It never fails. They also gave me this awesome t-shirt here, Grillaholics t-shirt. It's a little bit windy out here, so I don't want to change into just a t-shirt. That's why I got the sweater on. I'm going to put that aside as well. And then we got some awesome meat claws. Meat claws are going to be great for salads. And my favorite is pulled pork sandwiches. So the meat claws are definitely going to come in handy for that. Then we have a smoker box, which is something I always love to do here, is smoke some brisket, some ribs, even chicken. And when you want to do a quick smoking without having to use a smoker right here on the side, these smoker box definitely come in handy, because all you do is put your pellets inside this box here. Put your pellets right inside the box here, set that on the grill, starts to heat up, and you see that nice smoke come out and smoke that meat there. We have this here, which we're actually going to use today as well. This is a grill basket, so you can grill your vegetables on the grill without worrying about them falling through the grill there. So we're actually going to make some asparagus today on the grill, and that's something I love to do, some asparagus with a little bit of some soy sauce and Worcester sauce and some lemon. Absolutely delicious. All right, and then 2 items we're going to be using today. We have this SPG Grillaholics seasoning. Now, SPG is salt, pepper, and garlic. This one is a regular SPG barbecue rub, and this one is SPG twisted. So it's SPG plus butter. So I'm excited to use these 2 today to see how they actually taste, because I'm used to making my own spices and rubs, but using that today just to see what it tastes like, I'm sure it's absolutely gonna be delicious, and maybe we'll come back here at the end of the video and tell you how it actually came out. And then we have a couple of grill mats here. So this is a heavy grill mat. This is a grill mat mesh and a grill mat non-stick regular. I'm assuming this is just the heavy, and this is probably the lighter one, but there's 3 in each. And these are actually awesome, because one thing we do like to do is jalapeno poppers on the grill here, actually bacon wrap jalapeno poppers. And the one thing I always hate when dealing with those jalapenos, especially when you got a little bit thinner ones, because I like to cut them in half, they tend to want to fall in between the grate, even with some shrimp as well. So these grill mats definitely can lay on top of there, and you can cook that stuff on top of them. And the great thing about these is the grill mats are not going to stop the heat from going through. It's going to create the same amount of heat you would get as if you're putting it right on top of the grates there. All right, so I know I said I was going to share these, because I definitely want to share these, open this one up before I end this portion of the video. So here we go. We got a spatula, we got a fork there, and I'm going to use these today. So excited to do that. And then we have the tongs and the grill brush. You can never have enough grill brushes, especially when I'm out here making ribs. I love to, you know, slather those ribs, the brisket, whatever I got going on with some barbecue sauce or some homemade sauce as well. All right, so definitely excited that I have these products here. Definitely excited to be using them this year. If you guys are interested in any cooking videos or anything that we have going on, definitely let us know, because that's something we do want to implement a little bit more in our videos, and just give you a well-rounded channel here, so that way you guys can explore more of what we do here in the garden. If you're interested in any of these products here, go ahead and click on the link down below and use that code GARDEN20 to save 20% on any of these products. Again, once again, I want to thank Grillaholics for sponsoring this video, and we're going to continue back into the garden and see what else of the maintenance we have to actually take care of here in the garden. So still a lot of maintenance to go around the garden, but I have something to show you guys, and it's something I don't dare mess with when Angie's not around, and that's Harlow Car. I know she calls them our boys. I'm going to show you why she calls them our boys, because these boys are dangerous. She can handle them. I don't really touch them too much unless I really have to, but let me show you real quick what's going on here. This is Harlow Car. Harlow Car, one of the most thorniest roses I've ever encountered. And yep, see, like now it just got me. But Angie she's not around right now because she's doing other stuff in the garden. I'm trying to get some other stuff going on over here. Dinner's almost done, so just, you know, a number of things going on here in the garden and inside, and getting dinner ready, and you know, all the maintenance we're doing. She came out here a little bit earlier and cleaned up this stuff, but I wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna turn the camera around so I can show you guys what's going on over here. But there's a few things that Angie wanted to take care of. We have some stuff growing in there already. We have some Stand By Me clematis that she has in there. We have some alliums in there as well, and then the hookers that we did last year are there. Still a bit undecided on what's gonna happen here on this bed. I don't think we want to fill it up too much like we did last year. We want the roses to kind of spread, and that's one thing that I wanted to talk about the roses. I know I mentioned pegging in one of the other videos when it came to the roses. So pegging is one of the things we wanted to do with Harlow because it grows such long canes, but we want it to bloom, and it has clusters of bloom. Harlow does. It's a beautiful rose, smells great, almost like a like a lemon scent that we both pick up. I know it doesn't say that in the description, but we pick up almost a lemon scent, and it's a beautiful scent. And then the rose, like I said, it's a beautiful rose, and we really wanted to have all those clusters like we saw or we've seen before in North Carolina in the first year that we got here. But we really want that to happen, so we talked about the pegging. We're going to attempt to do the pegging on Harlow because, as you can see, we got some pretty long canes here, and because of the limited amount of room here, and because the sun hits so harsh right here, and it just tends to make this rose want to grow out this way. It just has some elongated canes that we want to maintain because there's no sun coming across here because it's such a tall wall. It just wants to come out this way. But I think if we peg it, we'll get some of those side shoots just like a climbing rose, and it'll be full of blooms, and that's something that we really want to do. So we're going to do a video on that in the future. We'll do it tomorrow, but we'll put out the video in the future about pegging Harlow so we see what it does throughout this year, because we're very excited. And then once we do the pegging, we'll see what we have to work with here in the bed as far as if we're going to put anything else in there. All right, so before we do the pegging or anything like that, the one thing we do have to do here is we have to clean up this bed a little bit. Angie's going to come back on a little bit. We're going to do some more maintenance out here, do some cleanup of the leaves, and then we're going to edge out the bed just a bit so that looks nice. And then tomorrow we'll do the pegging, and again, put that out in a future video. But that's going to be it. It's almost time for dinner, guys. Let's go and check out what's going on over there. So as we come to the close of this video, I did want to open some of this stuff that came in the box, because I realized that, you know, you guys probably don't know what it looks like. And if you do want to order stuff, you probably want to know what it actually looks like and what the functions are, especially like this stuffed burger press right here. So the stuffed burger press is a pretty awesome tool. As you can see, it's actually 3 parts. Almost lost it there. It's 3 parts here. What you do is you put your meat right in here, and you can squish your first side of the patty there, and then you put a filling in there, and what you do is you push this together, and it actually pushes the meat together, so it creates a stuffed burger. Something that's pretty awesome little tool. I've seen it used before, and I'm excited to try that in the future. Maybe some jalapeno stuffed cheeseburgers would be something great to do in the garden. All right, so the next thing I did want to open to show you guys were actually the grill gloves, because a lot of times when I'm making some food out here, and I actually have to reach over to move one of the grates or move some of the meat out of the way, it gets pretty hot. And so that's what the gloves look like, just in case you are curious about what they look like. Pretty well insulated. They got some grip on there, so that's pretty good to be able to handle some stuff on the grill there. And one more thing I wanted to show you guys is the meat claws. The meat claws are amazing. I've owned some meat claws before when we made some pulled pork, so they're always come in handy, but these are pretty sturdy. They look great. Just grab that pork and pull it apart, have some pulled pork sandwiches. That's something that's pretty awesome to have when it comes to grilling as well. All right, and the last thing I wanted to show you was the grill mats. I know that's something new to maybe a lot of people that barbecue, but this is what the grill mat looks like. Very sturdy. This is a nice grill mat that you can put right over the grills there. It's a mesh, so I actually have a picture of bacon getting cooked on there, so that's pretty interesting to be able to use out in, you know, when you're cooking outside. So again, there was 3 different sets of this. It's the grill mesh, the grill mat, and the grill mat heavy. And we'll be using all these products throughout the year when we're out here in the garden, cooking outside, cooking up some different meals and stuff like that. So definitely stay tuned for some of those type of videos. So before we close this video out, I do want to thank our sponsor again, Grillaholics, because it was pretty amazing for them to send this stuff out to us, and it's awesome because I love to cook and it's something amazing to use out here. I do want to talk about these before we go though. This is the seasoning that I talked about earlier. We opened these up and they absolutely smelled amazing. I have them going on the chicken and some beef back ribs. The chicken, by the way, I'll show a picture of that. You might be questioning the method of that. I call those caveman drumsticks. What I do is I cut the ends off and I squeeze all the meat to one side and pull the meat off the other, so it's a bare bone on one end, and it's easy to eat that way, easy to coat in barbecue sauce, and they cook a lot faster because all the meat's concentrated on one side. So just keep that in mind whenever you make some chicken drumsticks on the grill again. But again, these seasonings are awesome. But that's gonna do it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the maintenance that we had going on in the garden. If you have any questions again about the roses or anything that we do here to maintain our roses, definitely leave those in the comments below, and we'll answer that as soon as possible in a future video or right there, right on the comments. So that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, that's so delicious.